Here we are in Matewan, West Virginia. Hey everyone, this is Jake Pfeiffer here I'm here actually in Matewan, West Virginia. Now what's interesting about this place, in this exact street, how you doing? May 19th, 1920, 13 Baldwin Felts detective agents went inside here, which used to be an old hotel where people would go in and get a room. They'd also eat dinner and all that stuff. Now the hotel is no longer there, obviously, but 13 Baldwin Felts detective agents led by Albert Hatfield and Lee Hatfield, not Hatfield, but Felts. I'm bad with names right now. They entered here, had dinner. They were going to catch the 5 o'clock train back to Bluefield, because here, a few streets down, is the Stone Mountain Coal Camp, and they had been sent there to evict the miners from their homes. And so as they were walking back this way, now mind you, this is the exact street, about the same view they would have seen. The tracks, we were told, had been elevated a little bit, but these tracks were here. These buildings were here during the massacre and all that stuff. And if you pan real quickly, that building over there was Sid Hatfield's office in jail. Sid Hatfield was the chief of police here in Matewan at the time. And during the strikes, the mine wars of 1919 through 1921, he says he was neutral, but there's evidence that possibly suggests otherwise and things like that. But he was through here. He was actually at the post office with Cable Testerman, and they were just hanging out. And there had been some arguing before. The Baldwin Felts detective agents had come in from Bluefield earlier, and Sid Hatfield told them, "You're not allowed to have guns in the city, and if you come back through here, I'm going to arrest you." And so the Baldwin Felts detective agent said, "Do it, I dare you," basically. And so later that evening, they came back and they dared him. So as we're walking through, you're seeing the exact view the Baldwin Felts detective agents would have seen as they were walking into a hell of bullets. So it's also interesting that there's also a lot of paranormal claims here. People have heard voices. Busy little town. But also, before we get to that, these windows up through here, when the Baldwin Felts detective agents went into the hotel, miners armed themselves with rifles, pistols, and all that stuff. And these windows, they stationed themselves. So it was basically just a planned ambush all along. When they were going to come through to catch the train, they would just go gun them down. They were just waiting to have a reason to. So going back to the whole paranormal claims and all of that stuff, people have seen shadow people through here. There have been voices heard, different things like that. I actually today have my spirit box with me, and as we're done filming this video, we're actually going to do a spirit box session where the shootout happened. Now, of course, this is a very long street and all of that stuff, but it's very cool to be able to walk in this street where all of this took place. I used to live not terribly far from here for a little while, and I've always been fascinated with the West Virginia Mine Wars, and this is always seen as one of the bloodiest events during the Mine Wars. And so to actually be here, not just be here, but to investigate as well, I'm excited to see what happens. And as we were walking through, you kind of had the feeling that there was energy through here, different things like that. But just imagine you're walking through, going to catch the evening train and all that stuff back to your headquarters, and there's just people lined up all through here with rifles. And I don't know if they would have seen the people at the time. They probably would have concealed themselves. But just think about it. As you're watching this video, let's just take a second to think. This is the exact, I want to make sure I don't get run over by a car and all that stuff, but this is the exact view they would have walked down. 13 of them. Now it's interesting, 13 agents. That wasn't all the agents they had in this area at the time. Many other agents, I can't remember exactly how many, they were at the depot down this way. And when the shooting happened, everyone was kind of like, what's going on? And it was over within a few minutes. But according to court testimonies, different things like that, and testimony from Sid Hatfield himself, he said there were anywhere between 50 to 70 shots fired. And this is almost at a close range. So right now we're getting close to where the shootout happened. Actually, if you look where that little, I guess you call it, landing or something is up there, that's the post office. That's where the shootout happened. And of course, as we're walking through the buildings, there's the occasional brass plug in the wall and all that stuff. When we get down here where a lot of them are, we'll show you, but this is where it all happened. Now I'm gonna stop for a sec right here. According to a lot of the eyewitness testimonies, it's kind of weird how it is. I've read a lot of eyewitness reports. I've read the official report. Some people said that they walked down this road. Some people said they came in 3 black cars and then got out about somewhere through here and started walking. No one knows 100% sure what happened, but Sid Hatfield, who, because he's police chief and all that stuff, for some reason I just feel a little more inclined to believe his because it matches up with some other people's, but he said they came in 3 black automobiles from that road where we started, and they came down about halfway. They all got out. They somewhat blocked the road with their cars, got out armed with rifles, and marched through here. Now it's cool, we're getting to the shootout site. They were all walking together, the Baldwin detective agents, and about somewhere either here or a little further, Albert and Lee Phelps, they were the heads of the whole operation, evicting the miners back that way. They broke off and told everyone basically, hey, hold here. And they went and started walking up this way. And now, of course, you have the Mine Wars Museum and all that stuff. And as you're going to go by, and I'll try pointing out the ones that I know for sure, you're going to see different holes in the buildings. And some of them are nail spots and things like that, but some of them are the actual bullet holes. So, drug on long enough, this is it right here. Albert and Lee Phelps showed up about right here. Outside the post office, Sid Hatfield came out and said he had a warrant for their arrest. And they said something along the lines of, what do you have to get us on? And he pulled out something signed by Cable Testament, who was the mayor at the time, saying, you brung guns into the city, I have to take you in. So he would have taken them to that jail cell over there. So when Sid confronted Albert and Lee with that information, Albert Phelps presented his own warrant for Sid Hatfield's arrest. But it wasn't from Mingo County. We are in Mingo County, West Virginia. It was from Mercer County, West Virginia, in Bluefield, which was their headquarters. So Sid was saying, you have no jurisdiction here. It's in Mercer. So he's asked for a little argument broke out around here, and Cable Testament, the mayor, he came out. So I'm guessing he was in one of these buildings. He came out, and about right here, where I'm standing, is where they argued for a few minutes. And the Phelps agents were saying, we're going to arrest Sid Hatfield here and now. We're going to take him back to Bluefield to our headquarters for different things, obstruction of justice for the eviction of the coal miners, Stone Mountain Coal Company, and then also for somewhat terrorist acts against the coal tipples and things like that. But nothing was proven, and he was actually acquitted of all of his charges. And so here's where things get interesting. There were, like I said, there were people up through here, there were people in the shops and all that stuff. Someone opened fire about right in this spot right here is where it all took place. Sid Hatfield was known for having double pistols, and he was standing, we believe, about here. Cable Testament was about somewhere through here. Albert Phelps would have been here, and Lee Phelps would have been about here. We don't know exactly how it went down, but someone fired at Cable Testament and killed him. And his wife was actually right inside this building here, the post office. And Sid pulled out his double pistols, shot both the Phelps agents. Albert Phelps actually limped inside to this building, which is abandoned now, but this used to be the old hardware store. And in through that window, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a counter, or there was a counter at one point, and he went and hid around that corner and was exchanging shots from out through here. So the rest of the agents back that way pulled out their pistols, their rifles, things like that. They started just firing. The people from up here suddenly showed up, and they started firing, and it was madness. For a few minutes, all hell broke loose in this little area. It's kind of like the OK Corral, just in a little area, but this is where it happened. Now as we're here, see exactly, this is the post office. So Testerman was laying dead about here. You had Lee Phelps dead there. You had some other agents dead over there. These plugs right here are the actual brass plugs from the shootout. These are the ones that they know for sure. There's many other that they think could be from the shootout, but these are the shots, and it's a weird placement, so I'm guessing that there were people through here and all of that stuff. But when all of it was said and done, 13 Baldwin Phelps detective agents were dead, a few were injured, and 7 minors were injured. 2 ended up dying, and the rest of the agents ended up just leaving the field, basically, going to the depot, getting the train, and just getting the heck out of there. Now, Sid Hatfield and some of the minors, they were brought up on murder charges. But of course, after a trial and all that stuff, they were all acquitted of their charges. So this is it right here. This is where it happened. Stay tuned for more. I'm Jake Fife. Have a good day, everyone.